It's all a story. You know what you must do. And you're but one part in it.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We've seen a lot of Helena's dragon dreams on House of the Dragon, both Season 1 and Season 2 now, and based on what they've revealed on the show so far and the behind the scenes, Helaena has essentially seen everything from the events of the original Game of Thrones series later in the timeline, like Jon Snow, Daenerys, the Night King, the White Walkers. I've joked before that she's seen all the Game of Thrones DVDs, like she's seen all the spoilers for everything that's going to happen. The showrunner said the way they've written her character is that she lives more in a dreamlike world, not being able to distinguish her dreams from reality, which is why she always seems like she's a space cadet and is rarely present in the moment when she's actually talking to anyone. Briefly, you will see her briefly in the moment when she's talking to Alicent, for instance. But anytime she stares off into the distance or pauses mid-conversation, getting that faraway look in her eyes, she's either remembering some dragon dream or she's having a waking dream and unconsciously speaking what she's seeing without really understanding what it means. Probably the best example of that was during Season 2, Episode 1, when she was knitting Jaehaerys' funeral shroud without realizing why she was knitting it. Because she'd seen Blood and Cheese, she'd seen his death and knew that she would need it, but she didn't remember why or why it was important or when it would happen. And in the most recent clip that they released, I put at the beginning of this video, she literally says that it's all a story, you're but one part in it, you know what you must do. Meaning that she's telling someone about how they fit into the larger prophecy of the prince who was promised, the long night, the fight against the Night King and the White Walkers, meaning that she would have had to have seen all those events that happen in the future of the characters, like she'd have to have seen the White Walkers to be able to say something like that. And it seems like the show is now changing some of how dragon dreams and visions just in general work, because all the visions Daemon has been getting at Harrenhal aren't dragon dreams, they're meant to be Weirwood visions, which are supposed to work totally differently in the books. So we'll break it all down and what it all means, and how the show has changed how all these different types of visions are supposed to work. So if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. Reminder about House of the Dragon Season 3 and Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We'll be getting Night of the Seven Kingdoms episodes next year. House of the Dragon Season 3 probably won't premiere until 2026. Maybe Helaena can drop some dragon dreams about everything that's going to happen in Season 3 so we don't have to wait that long to find out. To be fair, though, everybody that's been having visions details stuff that will happen in Season 3 and Season 4, so technically they have been revealing what's going to happen in the future of the show. But in the clip I put at the beginning of this, they reveal that Helaena is telling someone about the grand story of A Song of Ice and Fire, like George R. R. Martin has told Helaena all the spoilers for Winds of Winter in A Dream of Spring. But the idea is that in order for what Helaena is saying to actually make sense, she would need to have seen everything that happens in the future. Now I say future because in the books, and at least so far on House of the Dragon, the way they've depicted dragon dreams is that people witness things that are happening in the future, and it has to be someone inside the Targaryen line. As far as we know, other Valyrians didn't have dragon dreams, and that maybe there were some out there that had dragon dreams, but Daenerys the Dreamer is like the earliest dragon dreamer that we know about. But the way dragon dreamers physically see their dreams, experience the dragon dreams, they're more like Daenerys' visions in the House of the Undying, where they're kind of unclear and can be interpreted in many different ways or misinterpreted. The big difference between this and the Weirwood visions, like the ones Daemon has been getting at Harrenhal, is that Weirwood visions are meant to be something that previously only green seers and the Children of the Forest have been able to see before now. And to boot, you're only supposed to be able to see things from the past that are in proximity to the Weirwoods themselves with the faces on them. That is, unless another green seer causes you to see specific things, like putting visions in your head, which is the Three-Eyed Raven did to Bran during the original show, like he was giving Bran visions. So another green seer could have been making Daemon have all these different Weirwood visions this whole time, like visions of his mother, young Rhaenyra, himself in Aemond's clothing and eye patch. I know there have been a bunch of theories that Alys Rivers is a green seer too. She could be physically manipulating Daemon while he's at Harrenhal, causing him to see specific visions, or it could be another green seer giving him visions. The important thing with Daemon's visions is that he's not supposed to be able to have Weirwood visions all by himself, though. That's why Simon Strong, for instance, has lived at Harrenhal his whole life and hasn't been seeing Weirwood visions like every single night. That's the reason why he's not freaking out, because Alys Rivers joked that their previous maester freaked out for some quote-unquote reason, probably because he got a bunch of Weirwood visions and couldn't handle it and just took off. Based on the way that Helena's dragon dreams are supposed to work up to this point, dragon dreams in general is that she should only be seeing stuff that happens in the future, meaning that she's seeing the Night King, the White Walkers, Jon Snow, and Daenerys. They're all the events of the second long night, not the first long night, like anything that happens after the present day of the show during Dance of the Dragons. The showrunner and the producers have said the limiting factor balancing Helena's powers of foresight, seeing the future like Cassandra style, normally they'd make her way too OP if she could literally tell anybody on the greens everything that's going to happen to them down to the day. Like, you're going to die on Thursday, so watch out on Thursday. And we kind of see this the past couple of seasons on the show, is that Helaena has no understanding of what she's actually seeing in her dragon dreams. She can't tell the difference between dragon dreams and regular dreams, or even dreams in reality. So it's sort of like she's turning into the internet and she's seeing everything that happens in the future, kind of like Bran during the original show, but has no actual search bar to search for specific things or find any context in what she's seeing. I made this joke in the past, but like Bran turned into the internet essentially. It's kind of the same phenomenon with Bran, but he's seeing everything from the past. Samwell had to be the one to come along to be the Google search bar to actually search for specific functions like, can you actually search for information about Jon Snow's parents, Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark? So Bran, because he had that information, was like, oh yeah, I do have that. Let's go check that out. But before that, it was sort of like the sum total of all knowledge was uploaded into his mind, and he just had no way of actually searching through it. So it's kind of a similar situation with Helaena, but everything from the future, not from the past. They've also said that a lot of the visions are also mixed together too, so she's seeing different visions on top of each other, which makes them even more confusing. And most of her time is spent in this dreamlike state, this dreamlike world, sort of half reality. Imagine Daenerys in the House of the Undying during the original show, walking through all her different visions. They're saying that most of Helena's time is spent with her wandering around in visions kind of like these, which is why she always seems so confused. So the idea is that Helaena has seen all these futures for everyone. She knows that everybody's going to die at some point because she's seen everything in the future like hundreds of years later in the future, but she has no idea when it's going to happen, only that these things will happen. And because nobody on Team Green around her in the Red Keep is tuned into Valyrian history, Targaryen history, even Aemond seems like he's not really thinking about it that much. When she's spitting out all these prophecies and dragon dreams, nobody is really tuned in. They just think that it's all nonsense. It also kind of sounds like Aegon the Conqueror kept his dragon dreams of the long night, the White Walker's secret from most people too. Maybe he told his sister wives. Based on what House of the Dragon show is implied, he probably told his sisters, in addition to Aenys, his heir, because the prophecy was meant to be told between king and their following heirs. And based on what we saw from Cregan Stark in Season 2, Episode 1, it sounds like Aegon probably told Torrhen Stark, the king in the north who bent the knee during the conquest, because it sounds like Cregan Stark knew all about the White Walkers. Winter is coming. So during his reign, Aegon the Conqueror probably made it a point to avoid keeping a lot of knowledge of dragon dreams from sitting around, explaining why people in present day just aren't tuned into the idea that there are dragon dreams that people might be having out there, like they are a thing that you should be clued in on just in case. Viserys was the exception to this because he was already a super big history nerd, compounded by the fact that when he sat the Iron Throne, he got the prophecy, Aegon's prophecy from King Jaehaerys, so he would have doubled down on a lot of the history that he was already studying in lore surrounding dragon dreams specifically. Really cool side detail, you actually see this in the behind the scenes, so the set decorators went way overboard during Season 1 and Season 2. It looks fantastic, like all the Game of Thrones House of the Dragon sets look fantastic. But during the events of Season 1, in the background of Viserys' chambers, the King's chambers, before Aegon moved in during Season 2, there was this book that was open to a page detailing the history of Daenerys the Dreamer having her dragon dream of the doom of Valyria. The actual pages the book is open to here detail what happened on the exact day that she had that dragon dream. They even mention that she was Balerion the Black Dread's first writer. Like, zoom and enhance, can we read the rest of this book? Like, there's all this Valyrian history here. Hopefully they'll cover the rest of this on one of the shows, either like the prequel shows if we do an Ancient Valyria show, or like the Aegon the Conquest series. But the idea is that Viserys was clearly studying the whole concept of dragon dreams and trying to figure out how they work. So I think that's one of the reasons why Helaena was probably his favorite, just because he kind of sensed maybe a little bit what was going on with her. But it sounds like he himself never actually had dragon dreams. Just like Greenseers, having the ability to dragon dream inside the Targaryen family was also super rare. So Helaena is probably meant to be the first person we know of inside their family since Aegon the Conqueror who actually had dragon dreams. But in the clip I put at the beginning of this, it goes way beyond Helaena just casually dropping hints about the Dance of the Dragons and what's happening right now, like in the next couple of years. Her prophecy about the spider in season 1, really good example about one that was specifically about the events of the Dance of the Dragons. During the clip I put at the beginning of this video, she's talking about the grand story that whoever this person she's talking to is but one part of. She's basically reading them the rest of the Song of Ice and Fire novels and the rest of the Fire and Blood book detailing the future history of the Targaryen family. Like, all this stuff is going to happen, and you're just a small chapter in it. But on the show, one of the ways it seems like they've started to change how these work the dragon dreams is to connect dragon dreams to Weirwood visions like the ones Daemon is having. That might just be for casuals, though, who find a lot of the magic-based plot, the visions inside House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, to be really, really confusing. They're kind of meant to be confusing, though. One of the big problems with prophecy that George R. R. Martin has said is a big thing throughout A Song of Ice and Fire is that people always misinterpret it, usually with terrible, terrible consequences. They're kind of getting into this on the show right now with Rhaenyra drinking and pouring the Kool-Aid. Like, she's starting to believe more in the prophecy of it all, divine right, like her actual power as a dragon rider. We'll talk about this more during my finale video soon and then during season 3, because I think it'll be a big part of her arc on the show going forward. But I think the show is trying to keep things as simple as possible, the way that everything works, all these different types of magic, so that you can see Helaena witnessing things from the past and the future, when really that's not how dragon dreams are supposed to work, and you can also see her dragon dreams crossing over with the Weirwood visions, when really that's not meant to be the way that they're supposed to happen. There have been a lot of theories going back to when the books first started being published about how all these different types of magic work in the Game of Thrones universe. Like, you have blood magic that was practiced by the Valyrians. It's how they created dragon bonding in the first place. There's Greenseer powers, the magic of the Children of the Forest, which is basically like the magic of the old gods. The show has already revealed that the White Walkers, the Night King's magic, are the exact same as their magic because the Children of the Forest literally created the White Walkers with their magic. You also have warging, there's elemental magic, light and shadow magic, like the magic of the Red God, glass candles, Melisandre creating all those shadow babies. There are a lot of subclasses of magic, but they all sort of fit into a couple major types. I think what the show has done during the original series to a certain degree, and more so on House of the Dragon, is say that everybody is drawing on similar types of power or the same power, but just doing so in different ways. Really good example of this, too, is that dragons, according to George R. R. Martin, are creatures of magic, like actual magic. But I think they're simplifying all this so that they can explain why you can see, for instance, Helena's dragon dreams and Weirwood visions overlapping with each other. Usually what happens, though, when you see weird stuff like that is that the producers and the showrunners have to clarify specific details and what their intent is, because sometimes visions like Helena's can mean 100 different things, but they were using them for a very specific reason in different episodes. In the case of the clip I put at the beginning of this, when she's talking about her grand story, though, it's meant to be more about the prophecy of the Long Night. I did a completely separate video about Daemon's Weirwood visions specifically, and how they're all tied to the prophecy of the prince who was promised the White Walkers, the Long Night, too. You can kind of see how House of the Dragon is bringing everything back around, referencing Aegon's prophecy, the Long Night, the White Walkers, the prophecy of the prince who was promised, over and over again. It'll probably become an even bigger thing in future seasons. The reason why they're doing that is to provide some connective tissue between all these different prequels and spin-offs in the original main show, so that everything feels like it's connected into an overarching story, the story of A Song of Ice and Fire, ... There are a lot of changes that they make along the way, though, like reinterpreting things from the books is a little bit easier to do with the stuff they're adapting for House of the Dragon, because the way the book was written is open to interpretation. Like, it's one maester's opinion of things that happened in the past, done so in third party. It's not like the original A Song of Ice and Fire novels when you're getting people's perspective from inside their heads. And usually when the showrunner is changing plot details from the original books for this current show for House of the Dragon, he did say that he usually runs stuff by George R. R. Martin, who will either okay or put the kibosh on different things. Like, can we make Helena's dragon dreams work a little bit this way? Can we make her live a little bit longer so that she can give us some more dragon dreams into like season 2, season 3? I am sure we're going to get a boatload of more Helaena dragon dreams on the show while she's still on the show, however many seasons she stays around. Totally in favor of them extending her lifespan so that she can just be around to just casually drop these little bits of information when nobody's actually listening to her. Earlier this year, I did a separate video about all the specific things, the events, the people that Helaena have seen in her dragon dreams that they've revealed on the show so far. Like, she's seen everything, but they've only revealed part of the things that she's seen. Thankfully, though, she graffitied all of it all over the walls of the Queen's chambers where she's been living now, and in the books that she has. Really big reminder that my House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 8 finale video will post next. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Once I post that, I'll start doing House of the Dragon Season 3 videos, so if you have any special requests for that, post them in the comments below. Everybody click here for that House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 8 video, and click here for all my other House of the Dragon episodes.